Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is me, Miss Aisha Manzoor, and you all are watching my channel Chemistry Solutions. So today in this lesson we are going to attempt paper 1 multiple choice questions from 5070 variant 11 May June 2024. So first question of this paper is: a scientist heats a sample of a liquid. The scientist measures the temperature of the sample and plots a graph of the temperature against time. Which statements are correct? So this is the graph which shows the heating curve of the liquid. So let me check the options. Statements that for statement 1 is between points W and X the temperature increases and the particles move faster. Yes, obviously. Basically, what will you deduce from this statement? Then a scientist heats sample of a liquid. So scientist is going to heat this liquid, and this is a liquid which is gaining heat, and after increasing the temperature the particles move faster. Yes, kinetic energy increases. This statement is correct. So this statement is correct. Between point X and Y, there is no change in the temperature because energy is needed to change a liquid into gas. Yes, temperature remains constant for a while because two states are present here, liquid and gas. So liquid and gas, both two states are present. 3 point is between points Y and Z, the particles move further apart. Definitely when they are in gaseous form, the particles move further apart and moves randomly. Okay, so in that state, the particles are in gaseous form. Okay, so this statement is also correct. So all of these statements are correct. Correct answer is A. Question number 2. A sample of a substance X contains iron and sulfur only. In which row is it possible for both statements about X to be correct? So what basically X is a mixture with the ratio. First of all, we are going to see what sample X is. Contain iron and sulfur only. Iron and sulfur reacts to form a compound FeS. Okay, a sample of substance X contains iron and sulfur only. So first option is X is a mixture with the ratio 4:7 by mass of iron and sulfur, and X is a compound with the ratio 4:7 by mass of iron and sulfur. X is a mixture with ratio 7:4. So first of all, we will check the ratios, then we will move on. Let me check. Iron has the atomic mass 56, whereas sulfur has the atomic mass 32. So we will simplify it on one table. So if we will simplify it by 8 sevens are 56. And 8 fours are 32. So 7:4. With ratio 7 iron is present, and with ratio 4 sulfur is present. So first of all, we will check 7:4 by mass. Only this option has X is a mixture with the ratio 7:4. Iron is 7 and sulfur is 4 by mass of iron and sulfur. X is a compound with the ratio of 7:4 by mass of iron and sulfur, exactly because one atom of sulfur and one iron and one atom of sulfur is present in it. So that's why this B option is correct. But 4 and 7 is given here, it's wrong. In C part, X is a mixture with the formula of FeS. No, FeS is a compound. X is a compound with the formula of FeS. Uh, X is a mixture with the formula FeSO4. Wrong. FeSO4. There is nothing with this. No. So all of these options are wrong, whereas B is the correct option. Now, question number 3 is, a chlorine atom Z has a nucleon number of 37. Which row is correct? So as we know that chlorine has 17 electrons, you can use the periodic table which is given to you in exam. So at the end of the paper you people can get it. So chlorine atom has 17 electrons and they have 17 protons. Okay, they have 17 proton. Okay, what are the number of neutrons in Z? So if we will subtract 37 minus 17, then answer will be 20. So 20 is basically our correct option. Now come towards the second option, number of electrons in the second shell of Z. So basically chlorine atom has 17 electrons, and if we will do its electronic configuration of 17 electron, 17, 2, 8, and second shell has 8 number of electrons. So this option is correct with this D option. Okay, element. So what basically isotopes are? Isotopes are the atoms of same element. Isotopes are the atoms of same element with same number of electrons and proton. Electrons and protons, but different number of neutrons. Number of neutrons. If number of neutrons are different, they will have different atomic masses. So now come towards the okay. Which particles are isotopes of the element? Okay, we have to find out. First check the number of electrons which they have, the similar one. If they have the 26 electrons, okay, 26 electrons and 26 proton, okay, 22, 25 protons, no. Number of electrons and protons are not equal. Count towards 26, 26, okay, again 26, 26. They have same number of electrons and proton but different number of neutrons. So Y and Z basically are, D option is correct. Y and Z are the isotopes of isotopic elements. Question number 5. Which statements about graphite and silicon 4 oxide SiO2 are given? Which statement is correct? Silicon 4 oxide is found as an impurity in iron ore. SiO2, yes, this silicon 4 oxide is basically used this as an impurity. This option is correct. The rest of the options we will see. The angles between the atom in silicon 4 oxide and graphite are the same. No, in silicon 4 oxide it is 109.5 degree, whereas graphite has angle 120 degree. So we have to memorize the angles between it, because this is the first time they are asking about the angles between these structures. So silicon 4 oxide is basically tetrahedral structure, whereas graphite is hexagonal structure along with sp2 hybridization, which basically is not the part of your syllabus. The melting point of silicon 4 oxide and graphite are high because ionic compounds are stronger than covalent bonds. No, the melting point of silicon 4 oxide and graphite are higher because ionic bonds. No. This one is wrong. Both of these compounds are covalent. When graphite acts as a lubricant, the covalent bonds between the layers are broken. No. The layers, because of the presence of weak van der Waals forces, the layers of graphite slide over each other. That's why they act as lubricant. So these options are wrong. Now look at the question number 6. Statement about the empirical formula and molecular formula are given. Which statement is correct? The empirical and molecular formula of a compound are always different. It cannot be always different. It can be same, like if it's a formula, for example, C3, any formula. So empirical formula, sometimes, for example, you have the molecular formula of CH4. Now let me give you an example. So 4 and 1 is not be divided at one table. So formula will, if it's a molecular formula, its empirical formula will also be same. The empirical formula of ethyne and benzene are the same. Let me calculate C2H2 and C6H6. We have to divided it in one table. So C1 and H1, where similar 6 ones are 6 and 6 ones are 6. So the empirical formula of ethyne and benzene are the same. Yes, this option is correct. They are same. This one is wrong. The rest of the options, C part is molecular formula always shows the simplest whole number. No. Empirical formula always show the simplest whole number ratio of the different atoms or ions in a compound. The empirical formula always show the number and type of different atoms. No. The molecular formula shows the number and type of different atoms or molecules in one molecule of a compound. So question number 7. What is the relative formula mass of aluminum oxide? So if we will calculate the formula of aluminum oxide, I will tell you how we will calculate it. The formula of aluminum oxide is Al2O3. Okay, so the atomic mass of aluminum is 27 multiplied by 2 plus 16 times 3. Answer will be 54 plus 48 and it will be 102. So the correct option is 102. Now next question is, how many ions are there in 16 gram of anhydrous copper sulfate? 16 gram of anhydrous copper sulfate. So let me remove the empirical formula. Let me clear this space. Okay, now let me, first of all, we will calculate the moles of copper sulfate. Moles of anhydrous copper sulfate, CuSO4. For this we will calculate the molecular mass of CuSO4. It will be 64 plus 32 plus 16 into 4, 64. So the answer will be 160. So this is the MR of copper sulfate. So moles of copper sulfate is equal to 16 divided by 160 is equal to 0.1 mole. So now come towards the ions in copper sulfate. If we will check the ions in copper sulfate, that are Cu2 plus ions plus sulfate ions. Moles of copper sulfate and ions, if I will say you mole of CuSO4 ratio ions. So in 1 mole of copper sulfate there are 2 ions. So you people can identify this is the copper ion and this one is the sulfate ion. So in 1 mole of copper sulfate 2 ions are present. So how many moles of ions will be present if 0.01 mole of copper sulfate is there? We will do the cross multiplication, then answer will be 0.2 moles of ions in copper sulfate. So next we have to calculate then how many ions are there. So we have to calculate the number of ions. So when we will calculate the number of ions, it will be like this. Number of ions is equal to 0.2 multiplied by 6.02 into 10 raised to power 23. is equal to 1.20 into 10 raised to power 23. So C option will be correct for this MCQ. Question number 9. Which sample contains the most atoms? 0.5 mole, 1.0 mole of carbon dioxide, 1.0 mole of methane, or 2.0 mole of hydrogen chloride. So let me solve this question number 9 on the board. And we have A option, 0.5 mole of water. And we have to calculate which sample contains the most atoms. So 0.5 mole of water, H2O, 0.5 moles of atoms, 0.5 mole, H2O has 3 atoms. 1 mole has 3 atoms of H2, 1 mole of H2O has 3 atoms. So 0.5 moles will have how many atoms? So X is equal to 3 multiplied by 0.5, and then we have to calculate the these will be the atoms. So if we have to calculate the number of atoms, then in that case 3 multiplied by 0.5 multiplied by Avogadro number, that is 6.02 into 10 raised to power 23. Then in that case we will get the answer 0.903 into 10 raised to power 24. So B option is with the 1.0 mole of CO2. 1 mole of CO2 has 3 atoms. So 1.0 mole will have how many atoms? How many moles of atoms? 3 multiplied by 1.0. So if we have to calculate the number of atoms of in CO2, it will be 3 multiplied by 1.0 into 6.02 into 10 raised to power 23. Then answer will be 1.806 into 10 raised to power 24. So next move on for the third option, C. In C examiner has given us 1.0 mole of methane, that is CH4. Methane has 1 mole of methane has 5 atoms. So number of atoms in 1.0 mole. So let me raise this. In 1 mole we have 5 atoms. So in 1.0 mole we have how many atoms? So it will be 1.0 into 5 moles of atoms. So number of atoms will be calculated by using this 1.0 times 5 times 6.02 into 10 raised to power 23, and answer will be for this C is 3.01 into 10 raised to power 24. Now move on towards D part. 2.0 mole of hydrogen chloride it's 1 mole of HCl is equal to 2 atoms, contains 2 atoms. So if we will have 2.0, it is given in the exam, then what will be the answer for the moles of atoms? 2.0 into 2. If we have to calculate the number of atoms, then for that 2 multiplied by 2.0 multiplied by 6.02 into 10 raised to power 23, and answer will be 2.408 into 10 raised to power 23. So these are the number of atoms. Now we have to check that which sample contains the most atoms. Let me highlight 1 point. Is it greater number, or let me change the color of highlighter. So check, is this the highest number or let me check the A, 0.9, then 1.86, then 3.01, then 2.0. So this C part is basically will have the highest number. So if you will see, if we cannot summarize, you can see the steps. Accordingly, you will check that the C part will have the highest number of atoms. Let me. Okay, let's move toward the paper. Question number 10. The reactions shown all produce hydrogen. Which reaction produces the greatest volume of hydrogen? Okay. So for this we have to complete all of these steps as Maillard at room temperature and pressure. Little bit lengthy question, but we have to solve step by step. Let me move towards the board again. So this one is the question number 10. Okay, move on towards question number 10. Questions are given for it are the number 1, carbon plus water, H2 plus U. This is the equation given for A part. And one for this A part, 1.4 gram of carbon is given to us, and then we have to calculate the volume of hydrogen. So in all of the equations we have to calculate the volume of hydrogen, and we have to measure the greatest volume of hydrogen. We have to calculate and find out which reaction is going to produce greatest volume of hydrogen. Quickly I would like to solve it step by step. Number 1 step is we have to calculate the moles of carbon. 1.4 divided by 12, answer will be 0.116 mole. Then again, second step for this A part is carbon ratio hydrogen. So in the exam we have 1 mole of carbon and 1 mole of hydrogen. So when 0.116 moles reacts with hydrogen, how many moles of hydrogen will be there? 0.116 moles of hydrogen. So third part is volume of hydrogen. Moles into molar gas volume, 0.116, that is 24 decimeter cube. So multiply it to get the volume of, so this is one volume with A part. Now move on towards the B part. For B part we have an equation CaH2 plus 2H2O CaOH whole twice plus 2H2. Now what we have to do first step is the moles of CaH2, as the gram of moles are given, that are 2.4 gram are given. Okay, for this 2.4 gram we have to divide it, it's MR. CaH2 has MR of 42. Answer will be 0.057 mole. Then in second step we will do the ratio method. CaH2 ratio hydrogen. 1 mole of CaH2 reacts with 2 moles of hydrogen. So I will write here 1:2, 0.057 multiply by x. So answer will be times x. So answer will be if we will divide it by u, we will get 0.114 mole. So next we have to calculate the volume of hydrogen gas. Moles multiplied by molar gas volume, that is 24 decimeter cube, and answer will, this for B part is 2.74 decimeter cube. Okay, so this one is the second answer. Now C part has the equation Ca plus 2HCl CaCl2 plus H2. So now the 4.0 gram of calcium is given to us. Moles of calcium, it is 4.0 divided it by 40. Answer will be 0.1 mole. Then we have to calculate the ratio between calcium and hydrogen. Calcium ratio hydrogen. So for this, you people can see 1 mole of calcium reacts with 1 mole of hydrogen. So 0.1 mole will produce for moles of hydrogen will produce 0.1 mole of hydrogen. So volume of hydrogen is moles into molar gas volume, that is 24 decimeter cube. Answer will be 2.4 decimeter cube. Now come towards the D option. For this D, we have the equation Zn. It's not much more clear. Zn plus H2SO4 zinc sulfate plus hydrogen gas. So for this, what we have to do first of all is we have to check what is given to us. Sulfuric acid values are given to us 50 centimeter cube and 2.0 mole per decimeter cube. Meanings volume and concentration is given to us. Concentration into volume, moles is equal to concentration into volume. So volume should be divided by 1000. Concentration is given to us 2.0. Let me correct it. 2.0 concentration is given to us. Whereas 2.0 into volume is given to us, that is 50. Converted it in decimeter cube. Answer will be 0.1 mole. We will do the ratio method, and 1 mole of zinc reacts with 1 mole of hydrogen. Sorry. 1 mole of sulfuric acid reacts with 1 mole of hydrogen, as we have calculated the moles of sulfuric acid. Okay, now ratio method will be among sulfuric acid and the hydrogen gas. 1 more ratio 1, 0.1. Answer will be 0.1 mole. To calculate the volume of hydrogen gas, moles into molar gas volume, again answer will be 2.4 decimeter cube. This one is the answer. Now check the answer. We have to check which reaction produces the greatest volume of hydrogen. Here is 2.4 and 2.74 here in B. 2.8 is the greatest number, that is option A. So correct option is A. So we have done completed all of the working. You people can see the working of the questions we have done. Practice the questions twice or more time, because these here in this paper so many calculation part is there. So next question is 11. Again the moles based question is there. Question number 11. 4 solutions of NaOH are made by dissolving solid. Okay. Solid NaOH in distilled water. Which method makes a solution with the concentration 0.10 mole per decimeter cube? So A, B, C, D parts are there. So we have to calculate the concentration. So in order to calculate the concentration, 1.6 gram of NaOH is there with solution this. Okay, first of all what we will do, we will calculate the moles of NaOH. A part, moles of NaOH, 1.6 gram of NaOH. For NaOH MR is 23 plus 16 plus 1, answer will be 40. So 1.6 divided by 40, we will get the answer 0.04 mole. And we have got the moles. Now concentration is mole over volume. Now I will put the values here. Moles we have calculated 0.04. We have to divide 400 by 1000, get the answer 0.4 decimeter cube. So divided it by 0.4 decimeter cube, then answer will be 0.1 mole per decimeter cube. So this is the answer which we have got at 1 because we have to see either this question has 0.10 mole per decimeter cube concentration or not. So A part is correct. So you people can proceed on with the same method and check either they are getting, rest of the equations are getting the same answer or not. Otherwise A is correct option. Which row shows the substances that can be electrolyzed? Aqueous sodium chloride, copper, graphite or molten lead to bromide. Which row shows the substances that can be electrolyzed? So aqueous sodium chloride can be electrolyzed. Yes. Okay, let me. Yes, it can be electrolyzed. Both options are correct, A, B. Copper can be electrolyzed. No, copper cannot be electrolyzed. This one is wrong. This one is wrong. So what about graphite? Is not an electrolyte. Molten lead to bromide are the electrolytes. So B is correct option. Let me tell you what is the meaning of electrolyzed. Electrolyte can be electrolyzed. What basically electrolyte is? The solution which contains ions to conduct electricity. So this is the aqueous sodium chloride and molten lead bromide are basically are ionic compounds which conduct electricity, so that those are the electrolyte. The apparatus shown is set up to electroplate a steel key with copper. The key does not get coated with copper. Which change needs to be made to electroplate the key? What they have done. So if we have to plate the substance, that object will be, we have to make the cathode. It should be cathode, but they have made it anode. That is wrong. And the object to be plated should be anode, and they have mentioned. So where is the option which they have given to us? Increase the concentration of aqueous copper to sulfate. Increase the electric current. No. Replace the solution with dilute sulfuric acid. No. Reverse the electrical conductions. This one is correct. D option is correct. Reverse the electrical connection. Ammonium nitrate dissolves in water. Which statements are correct? Okay. This positive sign is showing to us that this reaction is endothermic. Okay. This process is endothermic. The water gets colder. Yes. When the procedure is there, then beaker in which this reaction is going to take place, this beaker, this surrounding will become cool. So water gets cool and the surrounding will get cool. Drop the temperature. Thermal energy is absorbed by the ammonium nitrate from the water. Yes. Actually, heat energy is absorbed by the ammonium nitrate. That is the product. If you will see the energy profile diagram, for energy profile diagram, product is there, reactants are here. Products have greater energy than the reactants. So here is the progress of reaction, here is the temperature. So all options are correct. Okay. Now next question is, hydrogen reacts with oxygen to produce water. Okay, some bond energies are shown using the data in table. So let me solve this question here. Two HH and one OO, bonds broken. I will write bonds broken. And here is bonds formed. Let me make it more clearer with another color. Bonds formed. So bonds broken, I will make it with red. Two HH bonds are broken plus O double bond O bonds are broken. 1 mole of it. 2 multiply by 436 of HH given plus O2 496 are given for O2. So answer will be 1852 for the bonds broken. Okay. Now come towards the bonds formed. H1 bond, OH 2, 3, 4. Total 4 OH bonds are formed. 4 multiplied by the value of OH bond is 4 multiplied by 463. So for 463, if we will multiply it, we will get the answer that will be 1. What we have done, 436 plus 496, answer will be 1368. Let me correct the answer. Oh my god, this is not the let me. Here answer is 1. This one is not the correct answer. 1368. 2 multiplied by 436 plus 496 is 1368. When bonds are formed, for that what we will do, 4 OH bonds are formed. 4 multiplied by 463 and answer will be 1852. These here are the energy absorbed in bond broken and energy released in bonds formation. Now we will put the values here. Delta H is equal to bonds broken or bonds formed, or energy absorbed minus energy released. Okay, energy absorbed is when bonds are broken, energy is being absorbed 1368 minus energy released 1852 when bonds are formed. So answer is minus 484 kilojoule per mole. Now we have to move on. C is the correct option, that is our 484 kilojoule per mole. Silicon 4 chloride SiCl4 boils at 58 degree. Which row shows the type of change when silicon 4 chloride boils and the explanation? Type of chemical change, when boiling is there, then type of chemical physical change will be there. So physical changes are the two bit. Intermolecular forces break. Yes, intermolecular forces break. Basically intermolecular forces are break between the molecules, not the covalent bonds. Covalent bonds itself is very strong. You can take an example for the water molecule. If water molecule is there, always remember intermolecular forces between two molecules will be broken down. These are the intermolecular forces, not the bond will be broken down. Bonds, covalent bond itself is a very strong bond. A 2 gram sample of calcium carbonate reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid as shown. Calcium carbonate 2HCl, CaCl2 plus CO2 H2O. Which change in conditions make the reaction proceed more slowly? So the word slowly is there. For this we have to check the options when reactions get slower. Increasing the acid concentration, no, reactions will be speed up for this. Increasing the size of the solid particle, if we will increase the size, it will make the lump. If it is a lump of calcium carbonate, then reaction will get slow. Increasing the surface area, fast. Increasing the temperature, reaction will be fast. So this is the correct option, that is the B. By increasing the size of the solid particles, reaction gets slower. Question number 18. Excess aluminum. The word used is excess. Excess aluminum reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid. Reaction is given to us. The hydrogen given off is collected in a gas syringe. The total volume of hydrogen in the gas syringe is recorded every 2 minutes. The result of the experiment are shown below. So here you people can see the results which are given in the table are given to us. Which statement is correct? The mass of aluminum added is 0.10 gram. If we use the highest volume which is produced by the end of this experiment, we can only find out the mass which is reacted in the reaction. So the information is given to us will give the mass of aluminum that is exactly same which is given to us, that is 0.107 gram. So mass of aluminum which is reacted here, this 0.10 gram. So this answer is correct, that this hydrogen will produce this aluminum. But the question should be read very carefully, that excess aluminum is added. This is the aluminum which is reacted in this reaction, but excess aluminum is added. We do not know the excess amount, how much amount he has added during the experiment. So while 0.170 gram reacted in aluminum in the reaction, so the more amount of aluminum is added in this reaction, that is excess. So the mass of aluminum added, that is in excess. This option is very much wrong. You people have to consider it wrong, because this mass is not that which is added. This mass is basically which is reacted. Okay, the added aluminum is excess. So that's why this option is wrong. This question is very much tricky question. You all must consider and focus on all of the information and all of the bullet points which are given to you. You have to focus on that. So B part is, the mass of aluminum added cannot be determined from the information given. Definitely we cannot calculate the mass of aluminum added. We cannot calculate how much mass he has used in the experiment until and unless he has given us some information. The highest rate of reaction is 71.5 centimeter cube per minute. It can be per second, but the reaction they has given us a 71.5 centimeter cube. So how will you all will calculate the rate of reaction? First of all, you must know that the time which is being used is the difference of 2 minutes, 0 to 2 minutes. So all are differ by 2 minutes. Okay, so reading is taken at the regular time interval, that is 2 minutes. Okay, the total volume which is produced after every second minute is recorded. So how will we calculate the rate of reaction? Rate of reaction will be calculated by subtracting the total volume from initial volume. 3 minus 0 is equal to 3. So 53 minus 3 will be 50 answer. Then 103 minus 53, 50 volume is produced. Again, if we will subtract the value, 131 minus 103, answer will be 28. 141 minus 131, answer will be 10. 143 minus 141, answer will be 2. And at the end, answer will be 0. So these are the values which we are going to use and divide the rate of reaction. So 3 divided by 2, so the time difference is of 2 minutes. So we have to divide all of these values with 2 and get the rate of the reaction. So this is the calculated rate of reaction: 1.5, 25, then 14, then 5, then 1 centimeter cube per minute. So the question is, the highest rate of reaction is 71.5 centimeter cube. No, we cannot see this amount of rate, that is 71.5 centimeter cube. So this one is also wrong. Now another option, that is D option. critically you have to be focus on it because it's very important. The highest rate of reaction is when the acid reaction is when the concentration is highest. So always we know when we will increase the concentration, the rate of reaction increases. But we have to look upon our experiment which we have done with excess of aluminum with acid. So highest rate of reaction is when acid concentration is highest. So you all must know at the beginning of experiment the concentration of acid is high. If concentration of acid is high, then graph will be like this. First, at this beginning, the steeper curve gradient will be steeper and the graph should be like this. But here what we observed, the steeper curve means the highest rate. Okay. So at the beginning, you have to remember the concentration of acid at the beginning is highest. Okay. At this point, this is the point when the concentration of acid is highest. So as reaction will proceed on, the concentration of reaction will decreases. Okay. Steeper curve should be there. So concentration of reaction will be decreases. So look at the point which we have to rate of reaction after 1.5. So most volume of hydrogen produced in the second minute, we will calculate it and we will check it how we are going to explain. Let me explain it carefully. So let me again read the statement. Highest rate of reaction is when the acid concentration is highest. So highest concentration of reaction is here. Okay. This is the point when the highest rate of reaction is there at the beginning. As you know that with the passage of time, the rate of reaction will be decreases. So at the beginning, this is the point when the rate of reaction will be highest. Okay. So look at the point. But the rate of reaction at this point is 1.5 centimeter cube. And as it proceeds on 25 centimeter cube per minute, rate of reaction increases after that. It means with highest the concentration, rate of reaction is not high. So that's why this option is wrong. So rate of reaction after 1.5 centimeter cube per minute. Okay. So rate of reaction at the initial should be greater than the initial initial rate of reaction. It should be greater if this option is correct, but not, it is not correct. So at highest concentration, this point is the highest concentration. Highest concentration of acid, at the highest concentration of acid, rate of reaction is not high. So option D is totally incorrect. So one of the reason for this could be that this reaction is exothermic reaction and more energy received by particles result in greater frequency of successful collision. Okay. So higher rate of reaction, but environment might be possible, environment is might be not possible. It is basically, it happened in this experiment that environment is not a controlled environment. That's why it is not giving us such kind of experiment. So this reaction is not accordingly. So you people can focus on all of these options and clearly try to understand what we have done in this experiment. So correct option for this experiment, for this MCQ is B. So B is our correct option. This B is correct option. So now we will move on. One 57.75 of bismuth chloride, again moles type question. This paper is full of calculation papers. So bismuth chloride is used to make 500 centimeter cube solution using distilled water. The aqueous bismuth chloride slowly becomes cloudy as it reacts with water to form insoluble BiOCl. The reaction is reversible. Which statement are correct? So for this, what we have to do, we have to calculate the initial concentration of bismuth chloride. Okay. So let me move towards the board because the way is so congested over there. You can Keep the question in front of you and try to solve this question like this. First of all, for this 19th question, molecular mass of bismuth BiCl3, we have to calculate the molecular mass. It 209 plus 35.5 multiplied by 3, we will get the answer 315.5. So in the second step, we have to calculate the moles of BiCl3. The mass is given to us 157.75 gram, divided it by its MR 315.5. Answer will be 0.5 mole. So in the second part, 500 centimeter cube of we have to calculate the concentration. So volume is given to us, that is 500 centimeter cube, converted it in decimeter cube, divided it by 1000. Answer will be 0.5 decimeter cube. So for concentration, we must know mole over volume will be used. Moles we have calculated are the 0.5 mole. These are the moles of BiCl3. These are the volume of in decimeter cube. So concentration, mole over concentration, answer will be 1.0 mole per decimeter cube. Now you can check it, and we have to move on towards our paper. Yes, this option is correct. This option is correct. At equilibrium, the rate of the forward reaction is equal to the rate of reverse reaction. Yes, this one is the reversible reaction. This option is correct. When more hydrochloric acid is added, the position of equilibrium moves to the left. Yes, it is like a seesaw. If you will increase the concentration here, seesaw will become like this. So if you will increase it, so reaction when you will add it, see, so from higher concentration to a low concentration it will move, so equilibrium will shift towards the left. So this option is also correct. Answer is A. The flow, 20th MCQ, the flow chart shows some of the processes and reactions in the formation of ammonia. Okay. Air gives substance to. What substance 2 is? We have to check what substance 2 is. From air, after fractional distillation of liquid air, we will get the nitrogen. Nitrogen should be here. Okay. And from the process of cracking of hydrocarbons or long chain alkanes, process X will be cracking, hydrogen will be formed, long chain alkanes, nitrogen, and cracking. Option 1 is correct. Many reactions involve oxidation and reduction. Which statement is correct? Acidified potassium magnetines change color from colorless to purple. No, it changes color from purple to colorless. All reactions that involve oxidation also involve reduction. Yes, definitely. Or redox reactions. In redox reaction, oxidation and reduction taking place simultaneously. During a reaction, oxidizing agents lose electrons. Always remember, oxidizing agents are the substance which is being reduced, and the substance which are being reduced are the reduction is gain in electron, not the loss gain in electron. So this one is wrong. This one is also wrong. Reduction is the loss of hydrogen. No. Reduction is gain in hydrogen. Okay. 22nd MCQ, the equation for the reaction is shown. Which statement about this reaction is correct? Bromide ion are the oxidizing agent. This one is the bromide ion. 1 minus. First of all, tell me the bromide ion and bromine. This bromide ion minus 1, 2. If you will check, plus 1, 0, plus 2, plus 3, minus 1, minus 2. So always remember, minus 1 to it moves to 0. So increase in oxidation state. So it will be oxidized. and substance which will be oxidized is the reducing agent. Now come towards the next part. Chlorine has free element has 0 oxidation state. Here it has -1. 0 to -1. So if you will see 0 to -1, decrease in oxidation state, so it will be reduced. Okay, so it will be reduced to -1. So the substance which is being reduced is the oxidizing agent. And now bromide ions are the oxidizing agent. Come towards the bromide ion. Oxidize is a reducing agent. This one is wrong. Bromine is the reducing agent. Bromine, no. Because it is in product side, it is not going to reduce anyone. Chloride ions are the reducing agent. Chloride ions are the reducing agent. No, it is reduced, and chlorine molecule is the oxidizing agent. Again wrong. Chlorine is the oxidizing agent. Yes, this one, this is the part. Chlorine is the oxidizing agent. This is the correct option. Which row describes both the pH and the ion with the greatest concentration in an aqueous alkali? In an aqueous alkali. The point, you all have to read the statements very carefully. In aqueous alkali, which row describes both the pH? We have to talk about the alkali. Now come towards the alkali, where basically alkali is present here and here. In two options we have to now justify which option is correct. Greater than 7 pH, yes, always greater than 7. They have the pH till 14. So less than 7 is for the acid. So B is the correct option. The water in a lake is acidic and the fish are dying. So the question number 24 is very tricky question. The water in a lake is acidic and the fish are dying. The water in lake needs to be neutralized so that its pH is close to 7. Okay. Question is, pH should be at 7. Which compound is added in excess to neutralize the water in the lake? So first of all, phosphoric acid and salt will not be going to change the react with the acidic will not change the nature of the water in the lake, which is acidic. Okay, which is acidic. So calcium carbonate is basically used, not the potassium hydroxide. Always remember, calcium carbonate or calcium hydroxide can be used. So why calcium carbonate is used, not the potassium hydroxide? First of all, you must know that the calcium carbonate is a weak base, and for this weak base needs slowly with controlled neutralization, whereas potassium hydroxide is a strong base and reacts very rapidly and violently with acids, which can cause sudden pH spikes that are harmful for the aquatic life in the lake, basically in water, which basically we are neutralizing this the water, but they are affecting the aquatic life. So because of this strong base, potassium hydroxide is not used. Which pair of reagents is used in school laboratory to prepare a sample of barium sulfate? For one important rule you must know, barium sulfate is an insoluble salt. For an insoluble salt, you all must know 2 solutions are required to make an insoluble salt. First rule is there. Okay, so 2 solutions are there. So here barium carbonate is insoluble in water. This one is solid, or this one is aqueous. Salt will not form. Barium carbonate, again, on the other side, barium carbonate reacts with the dilute sulfuric acid, but because of the insoluble, let me tell you how barium sulfate reacts with the barium carbonate. React with the, if we will say here is the barium carbonate, and we are adding sulfuric acid in it. It seems first to react with it, a layer around this barium carbonate will be formed and reaction will stop. Why? Because an insoluble layer of barium sulfate will be formed around it and reaction will not take place. So that's why this one will be Wrong. This option is wrong. Now come towards barium carbonate, again the solid, and it will not react with the sodium sulfate. All sodium salts are aqueous, so it will not react with it. Barium chloride, yes, it is aqueous solution of barium chloride. This one is water soluble, and sodium sulfate is water soluble. Two aqueous solutions are there. They can form barium sulfate solid. So this option seems correct. Next option is the barium hydroxide and concentrated sulfuric acid. Remember that this reaction can be formed and they can form barium sulfate, but problem is the risk with this concentrated sulfuric acid, because in school laboratory it is not safe. For safety concerns, highly corrosive concentrated sulfuric acid is highly corrosive and dangerous to handle, and highly exothermic reaction is it. So that's why it's not good for the security purpose, for safety purpose. This option is wrong. The total number of electrons in one atom of element Q is 17. Okay. For this Q is 17. And in one atom of element R is 19. Now if we will see which elements are there, for 17 electrons we have chlorine atom, and for 19 we have potassium. So this is metal, this one is the non-metal. Q, always metal and non-metal form ionic compounds. Q and R react together to form covalent compound. No. Q forms positive ion. Q is basically, it forms the negative ion, not the positive negative ion. Wrong. R has more outer shell electrons than Q. R has more outer shell electron. No. If you will see 2, 8 and 2, 8, 8 and 1. Whereas 2, 8 and 7. So R has more outer shell electron than Q. Okay. R is more metallic than Q. So which statement about element Q and R is correct? So R has more outer shell electrons than Q. No. R has 1 electron, not more than 7. So this option is wrong. R is more metallic than Q. This option is correct because R is the metal. That is the potassium. Question number 27. Which statements about the group 7 noble gases are correct? They all are unreactive. Yes, correct. They all are unreactive. They all have a full outer shell of electrons. Yes. They all are diatomic. No. They all are monoatomic gases. So option 1 and 2 only. Iron has a high melting point. Okay, because it's a transition metal. So that's why they have the highest melting point. Which statement explains the high melting point of iron? So each iron cation has a strong electrostatic attraction of CF electron of delocalized electron. Yes, correct. Each iron cation. So if iron cation is there, 2 plus 2 charge of iron plus 2 charge of iron plus 2 charge of iron. So electrostatic force of attraction will be there between positively charged ion and delocalized electron. It shows the metallic bonding in iron. So this is correct. In every iron atom there is a strong attraction between proton and electrons. No. Iron has the same structure as diamond. No. Iron is an alloy and alloys have different physical properties. Iron is an alloy. No, iron is a metal. What is alloy? Alloy is a mixture of metal. So iron is not the mixture. Which statement about alloys is correct? Alloys are correct. Okay. Alloys are not electrical or thermal conductor. Wrong. Alloys are the electrical and thermal conductor. Alloys are softer. No, it's harder. Brass is a mixture of copper with small amount of zinc. The percentage of each metal is an alloy may vary. Yes, may vary. Yes, the percentage may vary. Question number 30. The table shows the reaction of four metals P, Q, R, and S and their oxides. Okay, so you have to tell the reactivity. First of all, we will check the S is going to react with all. S is going to react with all. Rapidly, no reaction with carbon, because as you know that the more reactive metals, if I will write the reactivity series at above carbon are the most reactive elements. So S, where S is present, they are more reactive. Then move towards the H. You people all see the which one is the least reactive. No reaction, react slowly, react when heated strongly. So no reaction, reacts when heated. Okay. Q is very slow or very least reactive. This one is the least reactive. Then P reacts with steam. Okay, reaction with water, P reacts with steam. So P will come in the center. So P will come in center, and R is basically R is no reaction, reacts when heated. Strongly, react slowly. Here R is the least reactive, not the Q. Okay, C is correct option. Which reactions take place during the extraction of aluminum from aluminum oxide using carbon electrodes? Okay. This reaction is correct. This one is also correct. Anode is going to react with the oxygen which is produced here. This is wrong. Al has 3 plus charge. So answer will be 1 and 2 only. Question number 32. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Okay. Are the fertilizers are used to improve plant growth? The solid NPK fertilizer has the properties listed. Water soluble. So always remember that it means that the fertilizer should be water soluble and has a pH solution with pH 7. It is neutral. Focus on the question statement of the question. So which substances are mixed to make a solid NPK fertilizer? Ammonium nitrate, potassium sulfate, and phosphorus oxide is the acidic oxide. It will not be used. Ammonium phosphate and potassium hydroxide is the alkali. So we have to use the neutral one. Ammonium sulfate, calcium nitrate, and sodium phosphate. Ammonium, sodium phosphate, calcium nitrate, ammonium sulfate. Okay, always remember that ammonium sulfate are basically very important and tricky part. Examiner says that in examiner report this questions is not going to attempt correctly with all of the students. So look at this, how to solve it. Ammonium sulfate is basically acidic in nature. Let me give you the understanding of it. If I will write the reaction here to give you a better understanding, it will clear your concepts as well. Basically what happens, ammonium sulfate is a water soluble salt. It produces ammonium ion and sulfate ion. Here ammonium ions are basically in the presence of water produce ammonia gas and ammonia NH3, ammonia gas and hydronium ion. When hydroxonium ions are formed, when hydrogen ions are present in the water molecule, in water it form hydroxonium ion. So this one is will produce acids in solution, so it is acidic. So now come towards potassium nitrate and sodium phosphate. Now this will tell us actually that the potassium, nitrogen and phosphorus will come with this D option. This one is correct. Now question number 33. Alkanes are saturated compounds containing carbon and hydrogen only. Structure 1, 2, 3 and 4 are saturated hydrocarbons. Okay. Now look at the number of carbon atoms. First we will calculate How many carbon atoms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 carbon atoms are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 atoms are there. Carbon atoms are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now come towards here. 7 and 6. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are here. So which pair of structures are isomers? So we have to give the understanding of it, where we can find out which isomers have the exact number. All seventh part, A part, is eliminated because that is not the part. Now come towards this. This is the structure of benzene. Again, it will not have the same number of hydrogen atoms. So 2 and 4 basically are the 2 and 4 are the isomers of one another. So correct option is D. Where is the correct option? Is D. Which statement is correct? Any compound that contains both hydrogen and carbon is a hydrocarbon? No. Any compound. And a compound that contains carbon and hydrogen only are the saturated hydrocarbons. So it's a wrong. Petroleum is a compound formed compound. No. Petroleum is basically crude oil, which is a mixture from many different hydrocarbons. The boiling point of hydrocarbons increase when the chain of layer, when number of carbon atom increases, boiling point increases. Next option, the naphtha fraction obtained from petroleum is used making roads. No. Bitumen is basically used. Compound Q is a hydrocarbon that has no structural isomers. Compound Q does not decolorizes bromine in the dark, means they are compound Q is not the alkene. So we have to focus on 3 alkene. RB is alkane. C4H alkene. So C4H10 is also. But the question is, no. Which does not, compound Q is hydrocarbon that has no structural isomer, but this one is alkane, but it does have its structural isomer. Butane has a structural isomer. 1, 2, 3 carbon atom 1 is here, CH3. So here will be 2-methyl propane is the structural isomer. Okay. Now come towards question number 36. Which equation represents the reaction of alkanes? CH4, Cl2, no, wrong. Where is the HCl will produce, not the H2, HCl is produced in the presence of sunlight. This reaction will take place. C6H5O2 4CO6H2O. Okay, correct. C3H8 HCl CH3 CH7, again H2 is formed, wrong. So only 2 is correct. Combustion, incomplete combustion is there basically in this reaction. Incomplete combustion is there. Ethanol is produced using either ethene or glucose as the starting material. Which row is correct? For which row is correct, what we will do? We will do the question. Change the color. Okay, we will change it later on. Ethene, starting material is ethene. Okay, correct. Catalytic addition of steam. Yes, conditions are correct. 300 degrees centigrade, 60 atmospheric pressure or 6000 kilopascal. This option is correct. What about the rest of 1-ethene, catalytic addition, steam? This is wrong. 135 is wrong. 35 in the presence of yeast and oxygen. In the absence of oxygen, this reaction take place. Not the 135, only 35 degrees centigrade temperature is required. Question number 38. The diagram shows 4 pieces of apparatus that are used to measure the volume of liquid. Which piece of apparatus always fill to same level? So very easy. For the same level, C is correct option because same level is here. Question number 39. The chromatogram shown is produced using a spot of black ink placed at point X. Okay. Chromatography paper is there. Spot M is produced by a blue dye in the ink. What is the RF value of this blue? So RF value, what is the RF value? Distance traveled by the substance divided by distance traveled by the solvent. So RF value will be, so what is the distance traveled by the solvent? So we have to calculate it because the scale starts from there, so we have to subtract the value. This is the solvent front, distance traveled by the, so 16 minus 4, you have to subtract the values, this 4, so in between value we have distance traveled by the solvent. So this one is the it will become 12. Let me check the answer. The answer will be 0.33. We can calculate it. Distance traveled by the substance, that is the 8 minus 4 and 16 minus 4, so 4 divided by 12, so we can calculate it like this. Now question number 40. The table shows the results of a series of tests with two substances X and Y, dilute nitric acid added, then aqueous silver nitrate. If there is no reaction, white precipitates are there with silver nitrate. So remember, with silver nitrate, the white precipitates will give us of chloride ions, or that the product will be silver chloride. So it means silver ions are present. Aqueous sodium hydroxide as added, white precipitates insoluble in excess. So calcium ions are present. No gas produced with aluminum because so calcium ions are present. It means, so flame test red flame with the for the calcium ion. Now come towards the no reaction, no precipitate. Yellow flame is of sodium ion. Ammonia gas is produced. It means nitrate ions are present. This is the result which you have to memorize. This is given by the end of your syllabus. At the syllabus page you will get it and memorize all of this, the sheet which is given to you of salt analysis. So in alternative to practical you will get this sheet, but not in paper 1 and 2, and IGCSE students as well in paper 2 and 4 they are not going to get this sheet. So you all have to memorize that sheet accordingly. So answer are calcium ion, chloride ion with sodium and nitrate ion. This answer is correct. So this is the end of the paper. I hope so that you all have learned it very well. So consistency is the key of success. If you have learned even a single word, so do not forget to subscribe my channel. So signing off, Miss Aisha Manzoor.